A hand claps your shoulder from behind. You turn. It's a face you haven't seen in 10 years, grinning, holding a drink. And then the question, easy and light. So, what are you up to these days? You open your mouth to answer. But before a single word comes out, something else runs first. A fast, silent calculation you never asked it to make. Where am I, compared to everyone in this room? That calculation is not vanity. It is not weakness. It is a reputation tracker, and it is far older than money, older than farming, older than the building you're standing in. It was built to run inside a group of about 150 people you would know for your entire life. Tonight, it is running against a class of 300, and it does not know the difference. By the end of this, you'll understand exactly why a room full of old classmates can make a genuinely good life suddenly feel like a losing one, and why the feeling gets louder the better everyone else seems to be doing. So why does your brain treat a reunion like a survival exam? Start with what your brain is actually measuring. Not your salary, not your house, your rank. For almost the entire history of your species, you lived and died inside one small group. A few dozen people, maybe 150 at most. That number isn't a guess. The anthropologist Robin Dunbar found it echoing across human groups again and again. Roughly 150 stable relationships. That was your whole world. Everyone you would ever be compared to, you already knew by name. And inside that world, your position was everything. Not because your ancestors were shallow, because rank decided who ate first in a hard winter, who got protected, who got chosen as a partner, who got left at the edge of the camp when food ran short. Standing in the group was not about ego. It was about staying alive. So your brain grew a permanent instrument to track it. A gauge that runs quietly in the background, all the time, asking one question. How am I doing compared to the people around me? The psychologist Mark Leary gave this instrument a name. He called it the sociometer. Think of it like the fuel gauge on a car, except it isn't measuring gas. It's measuring how accepted you are by your group. When the needle drops, you don't read a number. You just feel it. That's sinking, exposed, not enough feeling. That is the needle moving. And here is the part that matters tonight. The sociometer does not measure your life. It measures your life against the lives standing next to you, which was fine. For 200,000 years, the people standing next to you were the same 50 faces, living roughly the same life, at roughly the same pace. The comparison was gentle because the spread was small. A reunion breaks that completely. Think about what a reunion actually is. It takes a group of people who all started at the exact same line, same school, same year, same starting gun, and then it hides them from each other for 10 years while their lives fan out in wildly different directions. And then, on one evening, it drops them all back into the same room and switches the sociometer on. You are not seeing old friends. You are receiving 10 years of rank data all at once. So why does that hurt so much more than a normal Tuesday? To answer that, a group of researchers put people inside a computer game that seems almost too simple to matter. The game was called Cyberball. You sit at a screen, tossing a virtual ball back and forth with two other players. That's it. Then, partway through, the other two quietly stop throwing it to you. They just play with each other. You sit there, holding nothing, watching. It's a cartoon. You've never met these people. It could not possibly matter. It mattered enormously. Naomi Eisenberger and her colleagues ran this in 2003 while scanning people's brains. And when the ball stopped coming, the regions that lit up were the same regions involved in physical pain. Your brain, it turns out, processes being left out of the group using some of the same wiring it uses for a broken bone. Sit with that. To the ancient part of your mind, social exclusion isn't an insult. It's an injury. Because for your ancestors, it was. Being pushed out of the group didn't hurt your feelings. It killed you. This is why the reunion lands in your body, not just your thoughts. The moment you feel yourself sliding down the rank, an alarm fires that was built for something far more serious than a name tag and a buffet. And that alarm has a chemistry. When your sociometer reads danger, your body releases cortisol. Cortisol is the slow-burn stress hormone. It's not the sharp jolt of fear. It's the low, grinding one. It was designed for a real problem with a real ending. A conflict to resolve, a threat to escape. You feel the pressure, you deal with it. The cortisol clears, you go back to normal. The reunion offers no ending. There is nothing to escape and nothing to fight. So the cortisol just sits there, humming, for the whole evening. while you smile and ask people about their kids. That tight, tired, wrung-out feeling on the drive home is not in your head. It is a stress system that got switched on for a threat that never actually arrives. Now picture where this instrument was really meant to run. Not a hotel function room. A fire. It's the end of a long season. The whole band is gathered close as the light drops. And the oldest member of the group begins to speak. Slowly, deliberately, they go through the season. Who tracked the herd that fed everyone through the cold? Whose snare failed 3 times? Who found the water when the far stream dried? This is not gossip. This is the ledger. This is reputation being written out loud, in front of everyone who matters, and it decides how the next season goes for each of them. You are sitting in that circle, and when the elder's eyes move down the line toward you, your whole body tightens. Because everything, your standing, your safety, your future, hangs on which words come next. That is the machine. That is what your brain thinks a reunion is. Here is the twist most people never see. Your reunion anxiety is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is a sign the instrument is working perfectly. It is doing exactly the job it was built for, with flawless precision, on a problem that no longer exists. Because the numbers have quietly broken it. Your sociometer was calibrated for 150 people, living parallel lives at a shared pace, where being a little behind this season could be made up the next. It was never built for a room where one person sold a company, one just got divorced, one is quietly falling apart behind a great job, and one is genuinely thriving, all measured against you in the same 90 minutes. The gauge is fine. The scale it's reading has gone insane. And notice what the instrument does with incomplete data. It compares your inside to everyone else's outside. You know your own doubts, your own bad year, the thing you're not telling anyone. Them. You only get the headline. The title, the ring, the confident answer to what are you up to these days. You are ranking your full, messy interior against their edited exterior, and then wondering why you always seem to come out lower. So watch where this same needle moves through an ordinary week, long after the reunion ends. A coworker's promotion lands in your inbox, and something drops before you've even finished reading it. A friend posts a ring, and your first feeling arrives a half-second before you can make yourself be happy for them. Someone your age buys a house, and a quiet voice asks what you've been doing with your time. Different rooms. Same instrument. Same needle, sliding. Here is the small, usable move. When you feel that drop, don't argue with the feeling and don't obey it. Name the instrument instead. Say it plainly, to yourself. That's my sociometer reading the room. It is comparing me to a scale it was never built for, using data it doesn't actually have. That one sentence does something specific. It hands the moment back to the slow, reasoning part of your brain, the part that can see the whole picture, instead of the ancient gauge that only sees rank. You stop being the reading. You become the person watching the reading. And the person watching can ask a better question. Not where am I compared to this room, but is this actually the life I want? Because that question, your sociometer cannot answer. It was never built to. So the next time a hand claps your shoulder and an old classmate asks what you're up to these days, you'll still feel the needle move. That part is 150,000 years old, and it isn't going anywhere. But now you'll know what it is. Not a verdict on your life. Just an ancient instrument, doing its ancient job, in a room it was never designed to measure.